Alrighty, y'all. Team USA basketball recap. We played Puerto Rico today. Got a pretty solid dub, 21-point victory. That concludes the pool play and everything. We should be the number one seed, 3-0. Beat the brakes off of most of the teams that we played. So that's awesome, right? It is kind of funny. Like, I remember growing up watching Team USA, and you expected them to win by like 40, 50 points, like most of these games. Nowadays, like it's like 20-point victories and stuff, which, for basketball, still a good amount, especially Olympic basketball. That's pretty solid or pretty crazy. But man, the rest of the world's catching up fast. Like even like Puerto Rico, like staying within like 20-ish points, I think is like pretty incredible. When you look at their roster, we all know GTA, Grand Theft Alvarado, Jose Alvarado, out there, team leader and everything. Then they had Tremont Waters, if you guys aren't familiar, kind of a G League dude that he gets buckets. Like that's kind of what he does. Not quite NBA level, but he's a really good G League player. And then Davon Reed, who's played some G League minutes, but after that, like, man, that's kind of it for Puerto Rico. Not exactly like the deepest pool of NBA talent. Obviously a small country, and basketball is not the biggest thing to them over there. But regardless, like Puerto Rico came out great energy in this one, which you anticipate. I mean, every team looks at an opportunity to play Team USA as like that's their Super Bowl, right? Like this is our opportunity to do something crazy, right? So the energy is always going to be high. They take a lot of pride in this stuff. Most other countries, you just see like energy just being a thing that they always have in the Olympics because there tends to be a little more like pride with wearing like the foreign or their country's jersey, I should say, as opposed to like the United States. I mean, we don't put as much of an emphasis on our Olympians and like, hey, wearing the country across your chest like that. It's just not as much what we do culturally. But nonetheless, really, really cool. By the way, if you guys haven't been watching like some of the other Olympics and everything, been a lot of fun, especially the gymnastics, like Simone Biles and everything that she does is incredible. The only thing I don't get, and this is what I want y'all to comment on today, because there's not a ton of basketball to comment on this. Do y'all get what's going on with the equestrian stuff? Why do they talk about the people so much and not the horses? Like the horses don't do 95% of the work. Crazy to me. Crazy. But anyway, talking about Puerto Rico, they actually came out with what I believe one of the better like schemes in the Olympics so far, at least for like who Team USA has played, which is 3-4 teams. But they were running like a lot of like wide floppy actions with a lot of constant ball movement, making sure Team USA is having to move on defense all the time so that they could try to get guys like Alvarado and Waters like some ISO opportunities to try and get things going, and then find some shooters. And guys like Ford was really shooting the ball well today. Who was the other guy that was really hitting for them? Where did he go? Thompson hit a couple for him. Obviously Howard just took a lot of threes, but they were really trying to get some openings there. And that's the idea of how to beat this Team USA team. That's one of the things I wrote down here, is that like that's how you're going to beat them. That's how South Sudan almost did it in the one game or whatever. You're just going to have to outshoot them. You're going to have to create spacing because you're not going to beat them on the boards. That's a big thing that we saw today with Team USA, is just like a real emphasis on rebounding, especially with Bam and I'd say AD. Like they made it their goal today that like they're like, okay, I'm getting offensive rebounds, I'm getting defensive rebounds. Like that's my role on the team. And I think it's really cool to see like all these like all-star level players really like buy into these roles that they're given on this team, and you're starting to see it take shape like more and more each and every game. If I could talk about Puerto Rico just a little bit more, Jose Alvarado got into a little bit of early foul trouble. These two fouls happened pretty early on. Was it the first quarter? I believe it was the first quarter. He had two fouls from like 90 feet away because, he's trying to get his little steals, and he did get a couple of those little steals, which were absolutely amazing to watch happen. Him hiding in the corner and shit, and hearing Team USA being like, there he is, like I just love how sneaky he is with it. But yeah, that I really appreciated like the effort and trying to implement the game plan that worked. They just probably didn't have the personnel to do so. If we could talk about Team USA a little bit in this one, Jason Tatum got going at least a little bit with some of the points, still trying to find it from deep, but even him as well. This is where you talk about how good of like an all-star role player he is, where he's made it his goal to be like, all right, I'm going to get the most rebounds and everything. If I'm not hitting right now, I'm going to hit the most rebound, or I'm going to get the most rebounds. Curry's still struggling from deep. Dwayne Wade made a really good point. By the way, Dwayne Wade and Eagle, right? I can't remember the other guy's name. Like they're doing a good job announcing at the end of the day. I'm having fun with it. They made a really good point that like Curry's not in his normal flow with this, and this is something that you've heard me talk about a lot on my channel as of late, especially when it came to like Tim Hardaway Jr. in the finals and stuff, and like when they weren't playing him a ton. I'm like, you have to get these guys in a flow to like actually get them going. That's a legitimate thing that they need to find. Like they have to get like, they're kind of like we'll call them test shots early up in games. Like, you have to give them a couple touches early to let them kind of find their distance, kind of find their rhythm, like get them a certain amount of touches a game if you really want them to get going. Are they going to do that in Team USA? Hard to say. There's a lot of other good players out here, but is what it is. Devin Booker continues to be a good defender out there. The shot didn't quite fall in this one. Joel Embiid, like, still... The rim protection was a lot better in this one, but he still just had a lot of plays that kind of were all over the place or just a little bit unnecessary, or some of the turnovers are a little bit slow or lazy. Let a couple people get by him still in this one. Obviously, great basketball player, but I don't know, it's a little bit odd at points. Headband LeBron, thank you. Devin Booker, take your headband off. I don't want to see it. LeBron, headband, yes, that's what I want to see at this point. Another great game for him, and a lot of great dunks, and some of the best passing that I've seen out of him in a long time. And that's not like a knock on LeBron by any means, but holy cow, was that passing amazing. Wow. Going to the bench, KD, he's getting pretty close to being like the all-time leading scorer or something like that in both men's and women's basketball. I think he's passing Lisa Leslie. So that's amazing. Again, Bam playing defense, AD, defense, and rebounding. Anthony Edwards, though, this was his game where he just got to go off 11 for 15, 3 for 6, did it from all areas. Needed to get his foot behind the line a couple more times, and he would have had, I think, at least 2 extra points. Yeah, so he would have had up to 28. Shows you how crazy it was that Melo got like 37 in like the amount of time that he did. But Melo was just different in Team USA play. Derek White, again, just continues to be a pest. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but just everywhere on the court at all times. I'm actually really glad he was on Team USA at the end of the day. I was a little bit hesitant at first, but man, he deserves to be here, man. He is an all-star role player, to say the least. He is absolutely incredible. If there's one other thing that I can bring up here, I want to talk about like the Team USA rotation just a little bit. It was kind of like the last note that I really had. Like the other notes I kind of had was like, oh, Puerto Rico in the first half had like some really good post play and like getting themselves set up for that. But it's like, whatever. We don't need to talk about that too much. I would like to see more, because we only saw like 2 minutes of it. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, right? I want to see those three on the court together. Like, those are our three, like, goats and everything. The OGs, they're out there getting shit done. They played together for like 2 minutes, and I saw some of the most beautiful basketball I have ever seen, of just unselfish movement, respacing, great passing, getting shots up, hitting threes. But I understand that they want to do this whole thing of kind of like first 5, second 5 kind of thing, where Durant and Edwards are kind of carrying the scoring load like off the bench, and then Curry and LeBron are more so the creators in the first 5. But I just can I just see one game with them out there? Like, let's be honest. If we were to do like a legit starting 5 right now, what are we probably doing? Probably doing Curry, right, in some capacity. You probably doing Ant, I would have to imagine, at the 2. And then you go LeBron, KD, and then probably Davis, right? That's probably what we're doing. And then you could have more of like a typical like bench rotation and stuff like that, where you get guys like Bam a little bit more involved, in Booker and Tatum and Derek White. I mean, let's be honest, I think I'd probably rather have Derek White out there than Jason Tatum. And that's not saying that Jason Tatum's not a better player. It's just I think we need Derek White's skill set out there a little bit more in the tone setting. So just my observation of it. Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, he's probably the last guy on the bench. Doesn't mean that he's bad by any means, just is what it is. And Embiid would probably lose a lot of his minutes as well, between Bam and Davis just being who they are. I don't think we've seen a couple times where Bam and AD are on the court at the same time as well, and it's kind of cool. They both kind of find themselves in the paint, though, when the guys are trying to drive, especially because I think it happened when Ant was in the game a couple times. He was trying to get to the paint, and both of them were kind of there. So, kind of odd spacing. Those two types of guys have never really played together before, and neither one of them really want to step out in space like that, even though Bam kind of did a little bit in the last game. But I don't know, just some observations I'm making, like, because is this really the optimal way to play these guys together? It's hard to say. You're beating the teams by 20 points at the end of the day, but when you go up against like the Germanys or something like that, or the Canadas or the France, right? Even South Sudan, they can just get hot from 3, right? Anybody can win these games at the end of the day. But I'm just curious if, now that we get into kind of more so like the single elimination, like tournament type play and everything, are we going to see some sort of refined rotation in some capacity? I'm curious to see from a coaching standpoint, or do they just kind of keep being like, all right, throw these dudes out there now, let's see what happens here. All right, throw these dudes out here, and they all clearly have their roles, but like, are they going to change the rotation at all, right? Like, Edwards is the spark scorer, right? Kevin Durant, go out there, be a scorer, right? Like LeBron, facilitate things. Curry, use your gravity to go get things going. Jason Tatum, be a Swiss Army knife, right? AD and Bam, rebound, 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 protect the rim. That's your guys' job. Derek White, just go exist out there. We know you're just going to do what you need to do out there. So I like that they all are falling into their roles. I'm just curious to see the rotation. But hey, that's all I got for you guys today. I don't actually know who we play next and like how that all works, but if you guys know, let me know. But hey, appreciate you guys as always, and hey, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, like, do all those things. I'm about to start recording my season preview series, which I'm really excited to do. Make sure you guys go watch like my August channel update thing and everything. It'll kind of keep you informed on all that stuff. But hey, appreciate you guys as always. I'll talk to you later. Bye.